We were trying to prove that it was possible to build a chess machine that could beat the best human player in the world.
It was probably the biggest news coverage for a chess match ever.
Searching through millions or billions of possibilities.
Garry Kasparov hovered over his pieces in the deciding game of a match with an implacable challenger, Deep Blue.
There's an overload tactic and he may go down. Gary is not. He looks. Are we missing something on the chessboard now that Kasparov sees?
Pawn to c4, shattering the queenside, and believe it or not, it was in this position that Garry Kasparov resigned the game. On move 19 in the final game of the 1997 match.
Yeah, I could probably build that in Minecraft. One that could generate thousands of games, organize them, and then come back and play the very best move, using only the command blocks that are found within the game itself, and then using it to 1v1 real people from across the world to see who the true master is.
My gosh, what do I do?
This idea is incredibly stupid. I don't see how anyone in the right mind would have came to an idea like this, but here we are. Chess. To start off, I built this giant chessboard thing as an interface, but before you go assuming that I've actually done something here, I want to make it very clear I have not done shit. We quite literally have a blank starting position of a chessboard that has literally no functionality yet. I do hope you like my piece designs though. Anyways, before working on any sort of engine, we have to actually start by building the game itself. I'm realizing this video is going to absolutely destroy the next few months of my life. I bet it is. Alright, so the first mechanic I want to implement is the ability to grab a piece and then move it. I could, you know, put two buttons besides each square, one to select and then another on a different square to move it to. And this of course is the obvious way to make pieces move, but that's too easy, and it looks ugly as hell. So what if instead I just slap a Bluetooth connection on top of every square? And if that sounds stupid and impossible, just stick with me for a moment. There's this command in Minecraft, which essentially puts an invisible hidden hitbox at a desired location. So I built a spot for the command blocks and began setting up a bunch of invisible fields on top of the chessboard. So we could say for any moron randomly flying above the chessboard, we can create regions above every single piece. And if they're caught inside this region, we could track them for 2 seconds. If they're still within that region 2 seconds later, then that must mean they must have perhaps the slightest intentions to do something with that piece. So then we can make that recognition summon a grab armor stand underneath that square. And now this other set of field detectors will activate, turning the board into a, hey, where the hell should I place this scan? A bit more of the player wiggling around and eventually finds the spot that it wants to place in, launching a place armor stand underneath that area now. And by doing /clone, we can now move that piece over to its new spot. I expanded the code a bit so it's able to properly reset itself after each movement. I also set up this neat little back part here to manage lag resistance. And now we have a simple moving system which is very satisfying. Look, let's select the knight, hover over and grab it. Neat little message that pops up as well. And come over here and place. Pretty cool. But there's one critical flaw with the system so far. Check out this epic play. Ooh, select the pawn. Come over here and, checkmate. Oh, that's game. Ooh, what a game, easy clap. Now, if anyone watching literally knows anything about chess, you know I'm a god. No, I'm just kidding. This extreme level of chess is clearly ahead of its time. This is not how you play the game. There are rules you need to follow. But to do that, we first need to identify which piece is which. So I'm gonna create a good old reset board button to also fix that king I just squished. Now also when you press it, it's going to activate all these command blocks which will summon armor stands underneath the board. Let me just press that real quick. Now we have like 32 armor stands underneath every square with a piece on it. See, look over here, we have a king, yep, right. Yep, a white king piece. Alright, so then this one must be the queen one here. Oh, yep, epic. Cool, now we have pieces. And now by making a swift detector around the grab armor stand that checks for the nearest identifier, I can begin building a retrieval system that checks for the rule set for said piece. And also for clarification, I added a neat little border around the selected piece. And the border will now extend to any square that the selected piece can travel to. The rook allows vertical and horizontal travel. Bishop allows diagonals. The knights could do whatever voodoo L-shaped magic they feel like doing. The queen is a dummy mommy that could do whatever she wants and take up the entire board nearly. And the king is the side bitch that can only move one square at a time. And the pawns have so many rules, I hate them. at the starting position, they can move 2 spots here, but now you can only move 1 square from here on. Hey, guess what? You're the only piece I can't capture in a spot that you could travel in. So here you can't go forward no more, but rather just threaten and capture these squares to the side. But there's a special, annoying additional property in some scuffed scenarios where if someone pushes a pawn 2 squares in 1 move, and in this move only, you can en passant in order to capture it for some reason. One more property is if it reaches the end, it could promote to any piece, which typically means the queen. But Jesus Christ, pawns suck. And for those of you wondering, yes, there's still the ability to castle short side and long side if every piece is out of its way, which allows you to hide your king and bring out your rook. And you see how if I have, let's say, a bishop here, it's able to view this entire diagonal and even yoink that pawn over there. But if I push a knight to block it, you can see how if I try moving it again, it only highlights up to the knight for possible moving positions. And to show you how I did this, I set up a quick replay mode shot in slow motion. So what happens first when I selected the bishop on this square, to check its boundaries, it spawns in 4 armor stands that begin trailing off in diagonal degrees, pooping out this yellow wool behind it. And they're going to keep going in these directions until they encounter a piece identifier, and then stop. If the piece they ran into was black, then it would have kept going a little further to allow the capture for that square. The reason I did all this is because where the identifier is placed on every square is on the top left of the piece, done for easier clone mechanics. But even though it's there, you can still create diagonal, horizontal, and vertical lines connecting each piece together, and we simply just shift its length to match the pieces around it. So now we could say for every square with that yellow wall underneath it, we could place it there, which limits the placing ability for the place armor stand. So now illegal moves just don't even get recognized anymore, and only correct moves go through, which means grabbing air doesn't work, and also of course trying to grab black pieces doesn't work. And hey, wanna know how long all this rulemaking and legalization took? You know what, I'm not gonna tell you. 2 days! It took 2 days to do all this garbage, and all this stuff isn't even close to being done with this project. That's because I now have to move on to the hard part of this project. The actual part. Somehow, finding a way that after every single move white makes, a giant algorithm will interpret it and go through thousands of games to evaluate all of them, and then come back to this game and play the best move. This video is so stupid. It's so stupid. Why am I even doing this? Alright, first we probably need a way to minimize this game here, so it could be interpreted a bunch of times. Because if we want thousands of games being played and all of them were the size of this board, that would not be able to fit in the render distance of this world. So to start the algorithm, let's just branch off after the place function is done, and then we could just add on to it. So in order to make this as fast and small as possible, I'm going to need to kind of encrypt the data of the board here into blocks. So here's the encryption key that I'm thinking of. For white pieces, we have knights to birch logs, bishops to birch wood, untouched kingside rook to stripped birch wood, untouched queenside rook to stripped birch log, moved rook to instone, untouched king to gold, moved king to iron, queen to wool, untouched pawns to birch planks, and moved pawns to bamboo. So then for the black pieces, I'm able to flip the codes around to the spruce wood variety. Have you lost your brain cells yet? Because I have. So now each block is a staple for what piece it's representing, along with its attributes. And now we can do another thingy that clones all the blocks into one 8x8 grid. Alright, that only took a wee bit of command blocks. So now after any piece gets moved, it should update this mini board and... Ooh, sick. Okay, cool. Oh, alright, cool. We've created an encrypted chessboard using blocks in Minecraft. And now that we have this data, I believe we can begin creating a tree of possible future moves. But oh, come on. Just look at the side by side. I think this is heading to become pretty dang sick. Alright, so this is the point where I began doing a teeny bit of research, and look at this garbage that I found. Somehow, I ended up at Shannon's number on Wikipedia because he calculated every possible chess game variation from the starting position of for every ply, which means every half move of the game. So right here, just from the starting position of a chess game, if black plays one move, that means we'll have to generate 20 games, because there's 20 legal moves from that position. And from there, just from white making one teensy little move in return, we have to generate 400 games, which could even be a whole lot more than that in sophisticated positions. Then it needs to come all the way back from those 400 plus generated games to play the best move. How the hell am I going to do that in Minecraft? Alright, so I just woke up. Good morning. And I've had some insomnia last night because my brain has unwillingly figured out how to do this instead of letting me go to sleep. It would not shut up about all the math that could be done. And theoretically, it can work. Using a system I have decided to name pancake stacking. And long story short, it's going to need a lot of space. So goodbye, this one's beautiful land. I do not care about you. Alright, so to get this idea to work, we have to start by making a thing that checks all 64 squares if they were to move. But to do that, I need to create a bunch of encrypted games down here for each square. So if I want this this process to be fast, this should be a good setup. Alright, I have it ready to have an emergency shut off the moment it gets powered. Let's give this a shot, and oh my god! Uh-oh. Where the hell is it? There, die! Oh my god! Oh no, does it continue that way? Oh no, it does. Jesus Christ. Alright, so it should be able to loop around now, and okay, cool. Uh-oh. It appears I've made a fatal error, and now it won't stop going that way again. God dang it. So I've done some modifications, and what you're about to see is magic. Alright, boot it up, and look, it fills it all the way up, and now it stops at the end too. So now we have an 8x8 grid representing each square. Want to see how it does that? Well, I've actually also got it to place an armor stand at all those 64 squares. See, in this giant list of squares, this one scans that square, and this one to the left also just scans the square to the left of it. And somehow it all works. And just for identification reasons, I also made it so each armor stand has a score linked to which coordinate it's been placed in. So I might be able to do stuff with that later on. I don't know. Alright, so now what I got planned is actually kind of interesting. So because we basically got it to create a 64 core studier thing for that game up there, what we could do is look at each spot being studied and think what moves that piece could make, and then create a game for those moves. For example, in this core, this armor stand is studying this block here, which stands for an encrypted black knight. Well, how do knights move? Well, they move in spots like this. So then these spots over here clearly don't know what planet they're on, so we could withdraw them from selection. This spot over here is also stupid because we could see there's an unmoved encrypted black pawn sitting there blocking it, and that's an illegal move, leaving us with only these two possible spots. So what do we do now? I don't know. Let's begin labeling every single possible move legal in chess and categorize them in order of prioritization, of course. Bishop and queens can touch these edges, rooks and queens can attack here, knights attack these spots, and kings and pawns can kinda attack over here. And castling is also somewhere included in this garbage, but ignore that for now. As you can see, the reason I made each core 7 squares apart is because I don't want the boards talking to each other. Now, if each one of these possible moves, regardless of what piece it's studying, has an order, all we have to do is look at what's being studied, and now we're back to these two spots with these fancy numbers now attached to them. This move is earlier on the prioritization list, so let's generate that game first, but then duplicate another game on top of that where it looks at this other knight move. So now we've generated 2 possible games where the knight could have moved legally, although other pieces like bishops are a little more interesting and annoying. So just for this example, I put a bishop here. Now it's still going to go in order in terms of prioritization, but what I also did is, let's say it wanted to move over here. It has to first ask itself, oh, is this spot empty? Is this spot empty too? And then is this spot also empty or holding a piece of the opposite color? Hinted by the color blocks I now may generate underneath each game to help indicate team, just to be able to move to that one game for one game possibility. And now by applying the rule sets and prioritization level to every piece, and now by waiting, it should generate every single move. Cool, so here we are, a successful look into one half move into the future. And also check this out, it does a cool cleanup and put down thingy as well. I thought it was cool. So here it is, all 20 recognized legal moves that you can make from a starting position, which also perfectly aligns with Shannon's number for Ply 1, so that means we're on the right track. I'm actually really surprised this process works because even the theory of it seems scary. Also, if any of what I just said sounded simple, I just want to be clear, it was not. This was such garbage. My command block center now looks like a complete mess and I do not care to clean it up. Just to be able to do this process as fast as possible, it took 4 days of just going around and filling all these garbage command blocks with code. If this is what it takes to get this stupid engine to work, then so be it. Anyways, let's be honest here for a second. Only looking one half move into the future is kinda ass. We need exponentially more stupidity. And to do that, we first need to grab every single game that was generated in Ply 1 and let that generate its own 64 core pancake tower. Alright, just so we have enough room for every possible move, we need to have an 85 block gap in between each layer. I know it's annoying, but it's the most practical way for now, which means this is a good spot. So what we're going to do is send a flying armor stand around, and that's going to go identify every game from Ply 1, so it could retrieve that data up to these layers, and they could begin generating their own 64 pancake towers up here. Alright, I did some stuff. This totally didn't take 3 days because I accidentally deleted all the code, and we're off. Alright, it's doing its typical move recognition step. Then once that's over, you should see a coked up flying armor stand go around. Oh, there it is. It's going so fast. Yes! Alright, there goes the first one. Oh, now onto the second board, and Now the third one is generating 2, okay. Oh, it's so cool. You can tell they're different by looking at which pawns is moving across each board. All right, now it has stopped. And the studier armor stands are also in the proper place, which is sick. Now, you may be a little disappointed because, there's only 3 games here, which is not even close to the 20 plus that we need to generate for this. And simple answer, we've reached max height after 3 games. Are you beginning to see the issue with how stupid this project is to do in Minecraft? I am too. Anyway, simple solution. We murder all the land to make room for every single board. You think I'm kidding? All right, this should be a fairly simple process. All I have to do is wait. It's taking a moment. Oh, yeah, remove 2.7 million blocks. Wonderful. Now, I anticipated there to be a bit of lag, but this is no big deal. Oh, help. Minecraft has ran out of memory. Java virtual machine is not allocated enough memory. This is gonna take a moment. All right, some more crashing and clearing later, and the land has instantly became, I don't know, 80% more depressing. As you can see, we now have a lot of space to work with. Right now, I feel like the dude at the end of the Lorax movie. Anyways, no exception. Let's continue expanding the Ply 2 generation. First, I have to place all these railings for the track to go onto. This will help with generation, and they're also going to help give me a scale on where things should go. So here's a rule on how it's going to be able to generate all the possible boards. For every time it decides it's going to begin generation, it's going to add 1 to a public Ply 2 scoreboard. So 0, 1, 2, and we're at max height. So let's swap over to the next available spot. 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've already ran into an issue. So if we zoom out a little, we can see if the player is at the board here, then these chunks around it will be rendered. Which means depending on our render distance, we have to be a little careful with placement. Now, if the average chess game typically has around 20 to 40 legal moves one side can make, we probably want to fill up the closer chunks first because those are the ones that will be used more often. This gets us to about 38 on that Ply 2 scoreboard, but by doing a little research, I found that there's a legal game online that was played, which can only occur if you decide to be an absolute mega troll and somehow promote all 8 of your pawns into queens and then place them in this certain arrangement. This game posted to Reddit was stated to have a total of 218 legal moves white can make. And if you want clarification for that count, you're not getting it. I tried to verify by counting every legal move, but I got to 50 and then got bored and gave up and then went to go lay in my bed for an hour. Don't judge me. So to be able to hold this stupidly amount of unnecessary legal moves, we need to start putting the rare games towards the edge, just because they're less likely to be used. So by filling all of this up, this puts our Ply 2 scoreboard up to 217, which is just enough to fit all the games. Alright, I actually want to test this out because I haven't seen what it looks like all the way filled up yet. So if everything breaks and the world crashes, you'll see my reaction live. Alright, but if we really want to make the most out of this lovely experience, I'm gonna do a little silly goofy and say goodbye to all the white pieces real quick. Grab this. Yeah, basically, I'm gonna place black queens everywhere, so there's a bunch of legal moves. All right, let's give this a shot. Oh my god, look how many spots it's found for the queen. Oh my god, it actually looks kind of beautiful. All right, now it's beginning to generate. It should scooch over to this next spot. Nice. See, now this is why it's good to spend proper time on your code so you get that speed. Look at it go. I actually don't know how much it's going to generate, nor have I tested if it's ever going to stop. Ever? Alright, it's on its second lap around. Oh my gosh, it's still going. Holy crap, how much space has it taken up already? I can hear my goddamn PC fans firing up. Surely it can't go on much longer. Oh, did it stop? Nah, no way. Yep, it's actually completely done. Just look at this place. This is absolutely insane. You know, when I started this project, I had no idea this is where it will be. Alright, so now what I gotta do is basically remake the entire move generation thingy again, but get it to work for the white pieces. And also get it to connect to every single flying board at the same time. This is gonna be a pain. And I was correct, this was an absolute pain. At this point, I'm probably showing some cool footage of me flying around and, you know, building everything. But must I remind you, in this footage, I had to hardcode 1,889 goddamn command blocks. And to make this be able to apply to the 218 games at once, I came up with this weird storage thing where I stack 4 games in the sky at Y level 319. So it's then able to retrieve that data in clone form on top of all the prior games, allowing for epic move making. And I did my honors and cloned that function that's in charge of that, so every piece after it's identified and is able to move, it does that function. Hey. No, I already told you, I can't hang out today, or any day for the long foreseeable future. I'm working on the chess engine in Minecraft. Yes, I got my healthy 5 hours of sleep last night. Thanks for asking. Oh, you're gonna go? Oh, okay, have a good night. Yes, I love you too. Good night. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I was on the phone with the, 0 people who care about my life. I got the entire Ply 2 generation thingy to work, and now I quickly want to show you what that looks like. So because I, A, don't want to kill my PC just yet, and B, don't feel like waiting 5 minutes, I decided to let the engine calculate the starting position. That, and also I could use Shannon's number as a guider to see if I missed anything, and of course I haven't. So here it is, 400 games that could happen after black makes a move, and then white makes a move in return. Wonderful. Just even getting the data available for these games has already taken up far too much of this video. So we're going to start moving on to the actual cool stuff. We need to make an evaluation function. And to explain what the heck that is, I'm gonna swap over to replay mode real quick. An evaluation function is a thingy that we can apply to any encrypted chessboard that will do a bunch of math to decide which position side is winning. As you can see here, to even get that data, we have to have one armor sand summon around 64 armor sands on every single square. Doing this also allows the function to be moved around later. But because that looks ugly as hell, we're gonna hide that for now in the demonstration. So starting off, we need to create a scoreboard for the cell to be tracked on. Luckily, I made a special scoreboard called obesity, so we're gonna use that. Now, the higher each side's obesity score is, the better that side is. First thing I decided to take into account in the calculation was just adding the value of every piece together. Most would say that this is the known value for every piece, but they're wrong. Barely. By skillfully plagiarizing artificial intelligence's estimate for each piece and then multiplying that by 100 because decimals suck for programming, we began getting a rough obesity score estimate for both white and black. Epic, but there's an issue. Chess is very complicated, so we need to take into account for the positional aspect of the board as well. So let's change this number a bit depending on where the pieces are on the board. This pawn here is close to promotion, so let's multiply the ones further down the board to be worth exponentially more. Add some obesity to that. These pawns back here are a little further back, but also they're stacked. Stacked pawns usually aren't as good, so well, minus some obesity. And also over here, there's this additional random obscure white pawn that's somewhat threatening promotion, but not really, because in distracts there's this black pawn, causing it to be a semi-pass pawn, which makes him ever so slightly harder to promote. Subtract a little obesity. This bishop is in the center of the board, so it has more movement possibilities. Cool, plus some obesity to pieces near the center. This king isn't secured so well, so let's say for every piece around it that isn't its color or empty, we'll take some points off. Neat, now we have some more accurate numbers. But wait, oh no, a random queen just spawned in and is now harassing the king. We could attack this by cloning over a visual path on top of every single piece that goes through one another, and if the king is underneath this range, then we know it's being threatened, minus some obesity. But while we also have these blocks on top of the board, it also shows how much space that color has over the board. So let's add 1 point for every light blue block that's over the board, but also then do this entire process for the other side. And now, to get the final score, we just take black's obesity score and just slap it out of white, and boom, we have an evaluation score that we could store. I really did go kind of absurd trying to add random stuff to this eval function, and now it looks like a time bomb and it's made up of like 800 command blocks. But anyways, I may add more functionality to it later to make it better, but for now, it needs to actually somehow go around and evaluate the 400 plus games that have been generated. My original idea for this was just to make the function fly around in the text and evaluate games, but that just sounds terrible and I don't want to do that. But instead, I think I came up with an idea that sounds stupid, but it's smarter, but it's also still really stupid. Let's see if I regret it. Now, by employing the power of Jesus himself and all my skills combined, I made it carefully begin picking which games to evaluate. Yeah, that's a complete lie. Instead, it's going to pick a random game out of the 400, run the eval function on it, and then summon an armor sand on the top left of it, which is going to store the obesity score for that game. While the original mono armor sand is going to slide down. But if it sees that there's an emerald block on its tracks at exactly -2 from it, -85, -168, or -251, because those are the exact distances it would need to be to realize that it's on the last layer down. So then it's instructed to kill itself. And if you think this process will take too long for each game, do keep in mind that this is hella slow down footage. You want to see what this looks like in real time? Yeah, 0.06 seconds. Screw off, that's plenty fast enough. Yeah, look at that speed. Chef's kiss, I must say. In chat, I put a thingy every single time it starts and finishes, and yes, the chat is actually moving, and it's going to be even faster later when I boost up the tick speed. Alright, cool, it is just finished. Now we gotta figure out which game here allows black to play the best move, and then white play the best move in response, and it has to know which one these realities has to go down to know which one benefits it the most. Alright, so to even explain how this is going to work, we need to use something called a mini-max algorithm, which means what it sounds like, because what it does is for every alternating move, black side is going to try minimizing the eval score, and white side is going to try maximizing that eval score, aka mini-max algorithm. Easy. Now, let's give an example here. Let's say we have a starting position, and we look 2 ply ahead, which is what our engine does already. Interestingly enough, the only games we need to evaluate are the ones from the last ply played, which means we could be lazy. So just for our simple example here, let's fill in some scores that are easy to imagine into each game. Yes, these nodes are supposed to be representing games, but anyways, because this entire bottom row is white's turn to play, it wants to maximize the obesity score. So it's going to want these games because it has the highest obesity score in its branch. Cool, so now we have a clump of good games for white, but our engine doesn't play for white, it plays for black. And it hates white. So we want to pick the crappiest, lowest number from these high groups because it wants to benefit its own side. So which number is it going to pick? Well, that one. Which game is it going to play? Also that one. Wow, so how very complicated this algorithm is, you may be saying to yourself sarcastically. But just be aware, this is not our tree. No, this is a very simplified example of how evaluation trees work. So you want to know what a more realistic tree would look like? This is what our tree looks like. Oh wait, hold on, let me just put on my realistic glasses for a moment. This is what our goddamn tree looks like, just from the starting position of the game. Which means in even more advanced scenarios, our tree would get a whole lot fatter. So how the hell are we going to imagine this with command blocks? Simple. Attach apply to position score onto every single branch that gets generated, and let that be shared down to the ones further down the twigs. So then each spot knows where they originated from. Fantastic. Brilliant. Not really. Anyways, then we just plug it into our little algorithm search thingy here that basically says for each genre apply, it kills the one that does not have the highest obesity score, and then it comes over here and kills all the ones left that doesn't have the lowest obesity score, and then now it poops out the best one. Which if we power that all real quick, we now should have... Hey, we have our first move. Jesus, this move sucks, but we have something. And it should also have a tag to identify by, okay. So now we need to somehow get this game from way down here to come all the way up here, come all the way up to this board, then decrypt itself from its encrypted form, and then play the move on this big fancy board that I've probably now gone half the video without even touching. God, it's been too long. I miss my ugly piece designs. Anyways, how the hell are we going to do that? And honestly, I haven't figured that part out yet. Shouldn't be an issue that a whole lot of screwing around can't fix though. Alright, so I just set up this thingy, which basically rips apart that one chosen board from down there and does a weird reverse encrypt thing and then places itself underneath the current encrypted games blocks. So now we could see the piece that got moved was this pawn here, but now I could do something that's kinda weird and kill every single piece identifier. Now I'm gonna need you, random unmentioned code from before, and clone it here. Yeah, that's a great spot. Power this thingy. So now underneath the board is completely empty except for these null armor stands, which is hovering underneath every square. Then we just gotta give those null armor stands new tags based off the encrypted block that's underneath it. And now, if I didn't screw something up, this is the moment of truth. If I power this, it should be that pawn that moves forward 1 coordinate. Holy crap, did you see that? The first engine move, oh, that move must be able to take down like 3 Magnus Carlsens, surely. That's the best universal move possible. This is so fucking stupid. Oh my god, this bot is an absolute god.
The following footage took 2 fucking days to film.
Oi.
Huh?
You may or may not know this kid because he hasn't been on my main channel in over a year, but this man is an absolute chess genius. 490 rapid chess elo under his belt, was it 5-6-time world champion winner, edging streak of 37 hours, and I'm just kidding. But because he is a noob, he might just be the perfect candidate for me to test my bot out on. Because chess.com doesn't work, we're gonna do chess in the park on Discord. Alright, we're gonna make a game. I play as black. Create game. Now you join that game. Ooh, crazy. Oh, you have different, whatever. Alright, so basically, you play a move here, and every move that you play, I'm gonna tab back into Minecraft, this Minecraft window, and play the exact same move against the bot, and play whatever it plays against you, back into the Discord, and then we're gonna see what happens.
Okay.
Alright, so do your move, Baho. Ooh, crazy.
I'm gonna clip you.
So now I repeat the same move. There's this pawn to there. Now I hooked up an opening book to make this go a little faster. So the bot already moved that, and I don't even have to generate.
Ooh.
Alright. So you played this. Good thing, once I play this, that also hooks up to my opening book that I plugged in. So it knows to do this.
Okay. I see what you're doing.
You know what I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm using command blocks for this game. That's what I'm doing. There's no way this bot even stands a chance against an actual someone with a frontal lobe.
What should I do? Ooh.
Alright, so now it's gonna have to start generating its own moves. So you move the bishop from here, let that all highlight, and then you went to here. So now it should begin generating the ply. Let that generate all of its courses. There we go. Oh, I'm so glad I did this on the snapshot. This should go a bit quick, so you don't have to wait as long between every single move. This is the point where, although it is quick, you still, start working on homework. Okay, this is going to take a moment.
All right.
Start working on homework. Give my bot a little bit of time.
Bro, I'm famous.
You're famous?
6 new friend requests. Whoa.
On what?
Fortnite.
Playing Fortnite?
Yeah, I'm getting on Fortnite.
Oh my, right, okay. You go play your Fortnite game. Ooh, look at that. It's evaluating games. Oh, it's doing the eval so quickly because I put the tick rate up to 1 billion. Oh, okay. Oh, it moved the pawn up.
Oh.
Alright. Oh, crazy. The bot played that.
So I gotta quit playing this Fortnite thing?
No, yeah, get off Fortnite.
What move do I
play
make?
your move.
That moved. Oh, cooking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
Oh.
There you go. Ooh. Alright, now I just gotta repeat that to the bot.
No!
That I found it. Here. This is the move that it decided to play. This. Here.
But
It played that.
finally.
Ooh. I'm not. It's moving its king back here. I'm overreacting. I'm just confused why I didn't take the pawn and decide to just move up. It played. Ooh. Right. Pawn to b5. Selecting. Okay.
Okay. Cooking.
It played the takey pawn.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to win this. It might actually win.
I don't know, man. Might get cooked.
There's a small chance it might win.
I wanna resign.
You wanna resign?
Yeah, I'm gonna get, bro.
I think you click the flag at the bottom right.
I got you. 1 sec.
That's what you're saying.
Concede.
Oh,
Concede.
next up, Grandmaster, says the bot.
Ooh.
The bot is a Grandmaster.
You know what? I'm gonna blow up your computer, so technically I didn't lose.
I mean, you gotta bow down to the command blocks on this.
Shut up, bro. My defense. I was eating sunflower seeds, so I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, crazy. Does this justify the last month's worth of work?
you.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not fully sure why the hell I did this, but yeah, I somehow have built a literal chess engine inside of Minecraft using command blocks. And although this video has been extremely stupid, I may consider doing a part 2 and make the engine actually think with more than 20 IQ points. Because there are so many things I have noticed that could be changed in order to make this into a god engine. So let me know if you want to see that. Anyways, if you want to play this world, I actually posted the world download link in the downloads announcement channel in my Discord. Links in description. And if you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you were to subscribe. Please. Oh, crazy. It's still loading.
Every kill I get is a 1% chance that this video will be finished.